Matthew chapter 27. In the morning the high priest and the elders of the people gathered and conspired against Yeshua about how they could put him to death. They tied him up and led him away and took him to Pilate the governor. Then Judas, his betrayer, regretted what had happened when he saw that Yeshua was condemned to death. He quickly returned the 30 pieces of silver to the high priests and elders. He said, "I have sinned by betraying innocent blood." But they replied, "What is that to us? Deal with it yourself." He hurled the silver into the temple, left, and went out and hanged himself. The high priest picked up the silver and said, "It isn't lawful to put it into the treasury, since it is blood money." So they decided to spend the money on the purchase of the potter's field as a burial ground for strangers. That's why the field is called the field of blood to this very day. Then the words of the prophet were fulfilled. "I took the 30 shekels of silver, the price of the precious one, who the sons of Israel had priced, and gave them for the potter's field, as Jehovah directed." Yeshua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Yeshua answered, "It is as you say." Yet when the high priests and the elders made accusations against him, he didn't reply. Then Pilate asked him, "Don't you hear what they are charging you with?" But he didn't answer him, not even one word, to Pilate's great amazement. On each feast day, the governor customarily released to the people one prisoner, whoever they wanted. They had in bonds a notorious prisoner named Barabbas. When the people had gathered, Pilate asked them, "Who should I release to you, Barabbas or Yeshua, who is called the Messiah?" Pilate knew that it was out of envy that they had arrested him. As the governor was sitting in on his tribunal, his wife sent a message to him. It said, "Don't allow an incident between you and the righteous one, because I have suffered greatly today in a dream about him." But the high priest and the elders persuaded the crowd to demand Barabbas and destroy Yeshua. The governor asked them again, "Which of these two should I release to you?" And they shouted, "Barabbas!" Pilate asked them, "Then what should I do with Yeshua, who is called the Messiah?" And they all shouted, "He should be crucified." The governor asked them, "But what evil has he done?" But they croaked all the more, "He should be crucified." So when Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere and that a riot was starting, he took some water and washed his hands in front of the crowd and said, "I am innocent of the blood of this innocent man. See to it yourselves." All the people answered, "His blood is on us and on our children." Then he released Barabbas to them, but he had Yeshua scourged with whips and handed him over to be crucified. Then the governor's soldiers took Yeshua into the praetorium, and the whole detachment surrounded him. They stripped him and put a scarlet military robe on him. They twisted a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and put a cane scepter in his right hand. They knelt in front of him and shouted in mockery, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They spit in his face and took the cane and hit him on the head. When they finished mocking him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him again, and led him out to be crucified. As they were leaving, they found a man from Cyrene, whose name was Simon. They forced him to carry the cross. They came to a place that is called Golgotha, which means the skull. They offered him vinegar mixed with gall to drink. But when he tasted it, he refused to drink it. When they crucified him, they divided his clothing by casting lots. They sat down and watched him there. They placed over his head a written accusation against him that said, "This is Yeshua, King of the Jews! 2 robbers were crucified with him, one on his right and the other on his left. Those who passed by insulted him, shaking their heads, and said, "You who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days? Save yourself. If you're Jehovah's son, come down from the cross." The high priests were also mocking him, along with the Torah teachers, elders, and Pharisees. They said, "He saved others, but he can't save his own life. If he is the king of Israel, he should come down from the cross, and we'll believe in him. He trusts in Jehovah, so he should rescue him now if he wants him, because he said, 'I am Jehovah's son.'" Even the marauders who were being crucified with him insulted him. From the 6th hour, (noon), until the 9th hour, (3), there was darkness over the entire land. About the 9th hour, Yeshua called out in a loud voice, "Eloah, Eloah, why have you spared me?" Some of the people standing there heard this and said, "He is calling for Elijah." Immediately one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar. Then he put it on a reed and gave it to him to drink. But the rest said, "Wait, let's see if Elijah comes to rescue him." Then Yeshua shouted out again in a loud voice and gave up his spirit. Suddenly the curtain of the door of the temple was torn in half, top to bottom. The earth shook and the rock split. Graves were opened, and bodies of many Kadishia (saints) who were sleeping in death arose. After his resurrection, they entered into the distinguished city and appeared to many. When the centurion and those who were with him guarding Yeshua saw the earthquake and the things that had happened, they were terrified and said, "Surely this was Jehovah's son." Many women who were watching from a distance, the same ones who had followed Yeshua from Galilee and had supported him. One of them was Mary from Magdala, also Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's children. As evening approached, Joseph, a rich man from Arimathea, arrived, who was also a disciple of Yeshua. This man went to Pilate and begged for Yeshua's body. Pilate ordered that the body be given to him. Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a long cloth of pure linen and laid it in his new tomb that was hewn out of the rock. He rolled a large stone against the door of the tomb and left. Mary from Magdala and the other Mary were there, sitting over against the sepulchre. The next day, the day after the day of preparation, the high priests and Pharisees gathered before Pilate and told him, "Master, we remember that this impostor said, while he was alive, 'After 3 days I will rise.' So give orders for the tomb to be guarded until the 3rd day, because his disciples might come and steal him away at night and tell the people that he has risen from the dead. The last delusion would be worse than the first." Pilate told them, "You have soldiers. Go and guard it as securely as you know how." So they went and secured the tomb. They sealed the stone and posted guards.